thanks so much for joining us today. A part of the gist, we're really starting to get to know the women of the Ottawa Senators organization more, so wanted to touch base with you, Emily Knight, because you've been working for the Senators for almost 13 years now.
Longer than 13.
Longer than 13 years. How long has it been now?
Well, I started actually when I was in high school. I did volunteering at a few different events, and then I started part-time in 2002. Worked here part-time all the way through university and came on full-time in 2006.
So basically your life has been spent with the Ottawa Senators, which is awesome. Now you're the director of game production, and what does that mean? What do you do day to day?
So pretty much everything that you see in the arena on a game night, so anything that goes up on the scoreboard, any music that's played, any words that are spoken, all of that falls into my department.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is, yeah. It's pretty high profile, but it's also a lot of fun.
That's great. How many people are on your team?
From a full-time perspective, there's only 4 full-time staff, but we have about 50 part-time staff, and I also have another team that's volunteer of about 50 as well. So when you include all the part-timers and the volunteers, it's a very big department.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's super exciting. Did you always have a passion for sports, and did you know that growing up it was something that you always wanted to get into?
Yeah, I grew up playing a variety of different sports. I played rugby in university. Always was a part of my life, but I didn't know for sure, that I wanted to make it my career kind of forever. To commerce when I was in university, just to kind of keep my options open. But I did know from a pretty young age that I enjoyed working for the Ottawa Senators, and luckily I was able to stay here all this time.
Great. Sports is still pretty male-dominated, and what is it like being a woman working in the business side of sport?
In the earlier stages of my career, I definitely felt like I had to prove myself and prove my knowledge base more so than now. I feel like now that I've been in the business a number of years, I know what I'm talking about from a hockey perspective.
For all of these young people that really want to be working in sports and to be working for their favorite team and getting their dream job, what's your advice for them to go out and get it?
I understand that my path that I followed is not for everyone, especially if they're older than 17. They can't necessarily get in there in high school, but just kind of get your foot in the door. Openings, apply for them. If you just want to reach out to somebody on LinkedIn or things like that to kind of get involved, get to know people in the industry, and you never know when an opportunity is going to arise.
What inspires you and keeps you passionate about working for the Senators?
It was my 13th birthday. It was myself and my mom at the game, and my favorite player, Daniel Alfredson, scored a hat trick. From that night on, I was so passionate about the team, so in love with the team, so I know the power of one great night at the arena, and that's what really keeps me motivated to put on a great show every night. Somebody's favorite player can't score a hat trick every night, but we can make it an entertaining night in the stands for the fans.
That's great. That's an awesome story. What would you say is the wildest thing that has ever happened at an Ottawa Senators game?
Been a lot of crazy things that have happened. One time on opening night, every year on opening night, we put out these big LED screens that players skate out to be introduced to the fans. And as we're rolling the screens off the ice, it actually cut through our intercom system. And so all of our entire staff is now operating without any way to communicate to each other until we got that back up and running. So it was not ideal, not the best way to start the season, but we got through it, and I don't think missed any of our promotions that night. But there's always something crazy. Earlier this year, we had a fan actually have a cardiac arrest in the stands. Had to cut our promos. We're not going to go to make the crowd make some noise when somebody is having a very serious health incident in the stands. But paramedics were there on the scene, and that person actually was revived. So it was a happy ending, but it was certainly a stressful couple of minutes.
Totally. You really have to be on your toes and actually ready for whatever can happen during a game. Kind of start to wrap things up. We have some fun rapid fire questions for you. So one-off quick kind of questions.
Yeah.
So we'll get into those. What is your favorite place in Ottawa?
Canadian Tire Centre.
Love that. That's cute. When you're not at the Canadian Tire Centre, what are you doing with your time?
Play a number of sports. I play ball hockey, just like rec league. I'm on a dragon boat team this summer. I love to paddleboard. So love to get outside, especially in the summer, because that's when the bulk of my free time exists.
Super active lifestyle. That's great. Peanut butter or jam?
Peanut butter.
Shania Twain or Alessia Cara?
Shania.
Shania. Love it. Big Shania fan. Do you have any words that you live by or a mantra that you live by to kind of get you going and get you pumped up for game time?
Yeah, so the thing I always try to remember is somewhere in the crowd, it's somebody's first game, somebody's last game, somebody's only game. So we need to kind of bring it every night and make sure that each game is unique and special for those people that it might be their only time here.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and
Thank you.
we'll definitely stay in touch.